My footwork is perfect. I can punch hard going forwards and moving backwards. My balance when I'm throwing long combinations is great. I can pivot both ways, throw multiple punches at the same time. I can use my feet to get into range to land punches, to move out of range to get out of danger and come back with great punches of my own, all because of my feet and my balance. And on this video, I want to give you 10 tips that's not only going to help improve your footwork, but help improve your balance. Because at the end of the day, if you've got great footwork like me, but bad balance, it's not going to matter because you're going to not be able to throw these great punches that we want. Now, starting off with tip number 1, which is the opposite of what I'm doing right now. Meaning, if you're throwing combinations and you feel like when you are throwing these combinations and you feel like you're losing balance, because if we are throwing a long combination, like a 1-2 hook 2, double hook, body hook, head 2, 1-1-2, if you try to do that fast and your feet is not right, you're going to lose balance. And when you lose balance, then punches are not going to be clean and crisp the way that we want them. So what you need to do is start off slowly when you're throwing these long combinations. Because at the end of the day, if you can't throw a combination or even a single punch correctly when you're doing it slow, it's impossible to do it correctly when you're doing it fast. So if you're thinking that you're throwing a combination and you feel off balance when you're doing it, this is when you've got to slow it down. So for example, if it is a 1-2 hook 2 hook 2, we've got to get in our boxing stance and then throw it slow. 1-2 hook 2 hook 2. If you notice, I'm throwing it perfect. I'm turning my hips. I'm staying relaxed. I'm fully extending my arms. I'm bringing my hands back to my face after each punch. 1-2 hook 2 hook 2. And then my balance is good there. Again, 1-2 hook 2 hook 2. Now it's starting to feel a little bit better because I start off slow and then I can gradually build up the speed. Like I said, do this with a combination that you are feeling like you're off balance when you're throwing, starting off slow. And then you can build up the speed. 1-2 hook 2 hook 2. Then you can get even faster. Ba, 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 ba. Then you can get even faster. I can go way, way, way faster than that, but I'm not going to. I cannot really. I'm getting old and tired. Anyway, let's move on to tip number 2 on keeping your balance, which is when you're throwing at these punches, if you think about keeping a little bit low, and you do this by putting a slight bend in your knees. Now, I'm not going to tell you to bend your knees because when I've told people in the past, bend your knees, then they're on the bag and they're like this. And then it's like, move forward and then backwards, throw them punches. And they've got the butt sticking out like this because they've got the knees bent. Mate, whatever you do, don't go to the gym and start walking about like this. And see, I've seen Tony Jeffries' YouTube video and he told me to bend my knees and do this. No, don't do that. I'm trying to build a reputation here. If you're walking about like this, no. What I mean is keep loose knees so your knees are loose here. Yes, you've got that slight bend in them and we've got our feet kind of flat on the ground, but with a little bit more weight on the balls of your feet than on your heels of your feet. So it's probably like 60% of the weight is on the front of your toes, 40% on the back of your heels. Now, when you're doing this, you might have heard of the term, what gets thrown around all the time is...
When you do this, you mean you've got your centre of gravity down the middle.
I hear people saying that. I'm saying,
what are you talking about gravity for? People don't talk about gravity in boxing. What's wrong with you, man? Just say how it is.
You got your weight 50-50 rather than the centre of gravity. Anyway, don't get us started with that. So we got the weight 50-50 here. We're not over the front foot. We're not over the back foot. We've got the weight in the centre of gravity. God, what am I like today? So yeah, we're here. Now, when you've got this solid base, right, this is going to help you with your balance, especially if you want to whip in them hard punches, compared to the opposite where, and you're on your toes where you've got like 100% of the weight on the balls of your feet. Now, this is so hard to keep your balance and throw them hard combinations when you do this. Now, there is a method of being able to do it, way more advanced that I'm going to speak about in a minute. But for now, you want to get them feet kind of flat here with the slight bend in the knees. And when we've got this position right now, again, we can whip in them punches. And my balance is solid here. If you were in front of me now and you push this, depending how big and strong you are, I'm probably not going to fall over because I'm strong here. I've got that weight 50-50 that can really whip in them punches. Now, moving on to tip number 3 will really help you when you're moving around the bag. You never want to be moving around and watch my feet like this. See what I'm doing wrong? Can you tell? See so many people doing this. This what is in slow motion. Heel, toe, heel, toe. You never want to be landing on your heels. Now, I get it. if you watch some world-class fighters, they'll be moving around the ring and they'll do the heel like this. Yeah, it happens, it does happen, but you never want to be practicing this way. Instead, what you want to do is land on the balls of your foot. Every single time you move, no matter whether you're moving forwards, backwards, left or right, to land on the balls of your foot. Now, the reason why is, let's just say this is my opponent here. I step into range to go forward to him on my heel, and what this guy does is attack me from here. How can I really push off from my heel? I can't, can I? It's really difficult compared to the alternative. I'm moving forward on the balls of my foot. He attacks, boom, I'm away. Look how fast I am. So that's why you want to be moving on the balls of your feet. If you're up like this, then you start throwing the combinations, your balance is gone. Instead, you'll land on the balls of your foot, and right now we're here. The feet are planted, but still got that little bit more weight on the front of my toes than on the heels of my toes. Then when it's here, I can really whip in them punches. I can move backwards, move forwards, throw them punches. I'm on the balls of my feet. Then I'm moving forwards, plant the feet, bah, bah. And that's help you whipping in them body shots. Now moving on to number 4 is more of the defense side of things. And I see it when people are slipping and rolling punches where they struggle with the balance. Because what happens when you slip, you're transferring your weight. And it's that weight transfer that generally knocks you off balance. So if you're doing this incorrectly, it's going to really affect not only your long combinations, but the way your punches feel when you land them. So let's talk about slipping and rolling. First, slipping. I see people who've been watching Mike Tyson and try to slip like him, where he's slipping side to side like this. Now, I would never teach this. It's just not the right way to slip. Now, I'm not going to tell Mike Tyson that he's slipping wrong. I'll let you do that, even though it definitely did work for him. But the correct way to slip is I've got that line in between my feet there, and when I'm slipping to my left, slipping forward, I want to bring my head off that line and put the weight to the front foot. When I'm slipping to my right, to my back, I want to do the same, but I want to put the weight to the back foot, bringing the head off that line in between my feet. So I'm slipping forward, slipping back, slipping forward, slipping back. Now, when I'm doing this, I'm engaging my core. This is helping me with the balance as well. So I'm slipping forward, the balance is there. The balance is great. I'm actually loading up a big power shot to the body. Slipping back, this is great again, great balance there. My head's off that line. I'm loading up the big backhand, boom, there. So when you are doing these slips forward and back, just make sure you're bringing your head straight back to the center after you do them. If you're slipping here and then you start trying to move around at the same time as you're slipping, or you're slipping to your right and then you try to step, this is just going to take you right off balance. Now, there is times where you could slip forward, then from there pivot out and then come back at a different angle, but this is way more advanced for a different video. For now, we want to just work on slipping and coming back to the center. Slip and come back to the center. Slip, come back to the middle where we've got that good balance. Now let's talk about the roll, when you're rolling out the way of these punches, or if you're on the heavy bag and you're just working on the roll right there. To keep balance at this, there's a few things. The first thing is you need to make sure the technique of your roll is correctly. So if I'm in my boxing stance here and I'm orthodox, I'm going to roll to my right. It's always better to do that roll after I've thrown the right hand. Because when I throw this right hand, where's the weight? Where's my weight? Come on, where is it? Yes, it's on the front foot right there. Now, when I bring this right hand back, what I'm going to do like a letter U with my head, but I'm going to bring the weight to the back foot. So I'm here, bringing the weight to the back foot. Then from there, I want to come back to the center where I've got that great balance. Again, after that right hand, I'm rolling, going down, round and up, bringing the weight to the back foot. And then from there, I'm back to the center. Again, right hand, roll, weights back to the center, roll, boom. Now what you should do after you've got that is do a roll and then come back with the right hand. This is not only going to help you with your balance, but it's going to help you get lots of power into that right hand. So we threw that right hand, we've rolled, went down, round and up. And as we've got that weight to the back foot, as we transfer that weight back to 50-50, that's when we're going to throw that right hand and you're going to get some serious power into the punch. And now my balance is pretty perfect because I'm doing this the correct way. Now that goes the same for rolling to your left. If you're orthodox, it's always better to roll to your left after you throw a left hand. And I love rolling to the left after I throw a lead hook. So let's just say I threw a 2 lead hook. Now my weight is on the back foot. All I'm going to do is bring this lead hook back to my face. As I'm doing that, I'm going to do the letter U, rolling forward, bringing the weight to the front foot, keeping the chin down, keeping the balance good, and then bring the weight to the center. So it's going to be a 2 hook, roll, weights back to the center. Great balance. 2 hook, roll, weight to the center. What feels even better than that is because I threw that 2 hook. Now I'm rolling underneath, bringing the weight to the front foot. It's put me in the perfect position to throw another lead hook. So it will be a 2 hook, roll. Now here, whoom, lead hook. That's going to help regain the balance after rolling forward. So again, it's going to be a 2 hook, roll. And because you're transferring that weight, boom, you're going to get some power in that punch while keeping great balance. But it's important when you're doing this, you want to engage your core. If you're just thinking about punches and being loose, that's when you're going to probably get sloppy and bring your body off in the wrong angle. Instead, you want to engage that core here, engage the core. And that really helps you when you're doing this. Now, moving on to tip number 5 is kind of an extension of what I've just spoke about right there. You know, when you're transferring that weight, it's important that you do that not just with the slips and the rolls, but with every punch. If I'm throwing a 1-2, 1-2, I've transferred the weight to my front foot there, 60% front, 40% back. But also, I'm going to bring this straight back to my face and back in my boxing stance. What I see a lot of people doing is overreaching. And if I've got to overreach on the bag, I throw 1-2. Now I've put 70% of the weight on my front foot. Look how high my back heel is off the ground because I've had to overreach to land that punch, which puts me off balance quite a lot. And it's the same if you try to throw a jab when you're out of range and you're leaning forward. Again, I'm off balance. This is a terrible position to be in. So to not overreach, you know what you've got to do? It's simple. Just get a little bit closer to the bag. I've stepped about 5 inches forward there. Now that punch is landing great. This punch is also landing great. Making sure you're never overreaching when you're throwing the punches. And this kind of comes back to what I've just mentioned about starting off slow. If you're overreaching when you're throwing these slow punches, mate, when you throw the fast ones, you're screwed. You're never going to be able to improve your balance. Move on to number 6 is something that I see beginners doing all the time, where it is like this. I mean, my balance was pretty good there. But what I did, it's hard for you to see, is I held my breath. And when I'm holding my breath and throwing them punches, do you think that's going to help me with my balance? Definitely not. You need to stay relaxed, not just when we are throwing punches, but when we're moving around. Like as you've seen me at the beginning of this video there, I'm moving around on my toes, keep my feet nice and wide apart. Here, great balance, staying totally relaxed. My hands are relaxed, my body's relaxed, my feet's relaxed. And when you stay relaxed, that only helps you with that balance. Now moving on, number 7 is another thing that you might have noticed what I'm doing here. Look where my feet is. My feet is apart at all times. When my feet is apart and I've still got that great boxing stance with the line in between my feet, and then my feet's not on that one line like this has put me in a position to be able to throw punches anytime. So when the bag's moving, I can move forwards and punch. Look at my feet. See? My feet is apart. Because they're apart, making them short little steps. That right there is why I've got great balance, rather than the alternative, what I see so many people do, where they'll punch the bag, and they'll be here, and they'll bring the feet together, and they'll be there, like this. And it's just, nah, mate. Don't do it. Don't do it. Keep them feet apart all the time. As long as you're in the correct boxing stance, that's going to really help you improve the balance and your overall boxing. But not as much as tip number 8, because this one right here, I can 100% guarantee you, and I can't 100% guarantee many things in life. This will help you improve not just your footwork and your balance, but your all-around boxing ability if you do it correct. It's impossible for this next method not to help you reach your full potential, as long as you're doing it, that is. And this will help you become a master at boxing. You'll even get a certificate if you complete this, which is an online course that I created with over 120 videos where I dive deep into every aspect of boxing, breaking it all down as simple as possible, helping you get better footwork, better reactions, faster hands, harder punches, better breathing, better stamina, and everything else in between. I put all of my knowledge from my 17 years of competitive boxing experience into this one course, where you're going to watch videos, answer questions about the videos. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is because when you're answering questions about a video, there's so many studies out there that tell you that this helps this retain in your brain. Like right now, I'm giving you these tips on how to keep your balance, and 1 or 2 of them might stick in your head, but I'm giving you 10 right now. So the chances are you're going to forget about 7 or 8 of these, and you're going to have to come back and watch this video to remember what they are. Or hopefully you're writing these down, and when you go to the gym, you'll be able to work on them then. But if you were answering questions about these videos, like right now, if I asked you, what's the alternative of saying,
That center of gravity, keep your center of gravity,
you would know that the answer is keep your weight 50-50 because you've just learned it. And now, because I've asked you this question, this is going to retain in your brain probably forever now, just like everything does at Master Boxing. Now, let's move on to number 9. This is what I see generally men who come to the gym for the first time or second time or maybe a couple of months when they're on the bag and they're whacking this bag as hard as they can. I mean, they're like this. Really whipping in their punches as hard as they can. But not only do they get tired pretty fast, but they put themselves in positions where it's like and I'm down here. Terrible position. Off balance, in fact. If you were at the side of me now and you're pushing me, I'd fall over. So what this one is every punch that you throw does not have to be hard. Instead, work on relaxation. Think about your breathing. Think about what I mentioned earlier about slowing down your punches. Now, by all means, punch hard now and again, but not every punch doesn't have to be hard. And that will only help you with your balance and your footwork, but not as much as the next tip. This is a drill that boxers have done for years. And when I first did this drill, I was thinking, this is bloody difficult because what you've got to do, you've got to move your hands, your head, your feet, and bend your knees as you're doing it. And there's a drill that you use on a slip line, just a hand wrap from one side of the room to the other side of the room. And this is just one of the many videos that I've got on my Master Boxing course. If you click here, it'll take you through to my Master Boxing course and you can learn everything else about it. Click here and go and check it out.